Next up, we have Death Note L's theme, Dubstep remix by ShadowBeatz, featured in Geometry Dash is my understanding. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server, the gaming channel, how to request songs if you're not on the live stream, members getting early access to the content. I have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things at the end of this video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitared, so please keep that in mind. Also, again, at the time of recording, we're celebrating 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you again for that. We're celebrating two ways. Number one, I'm giving away 10 copies of Vintage Story. And number two, we're now playing, we just started Just Shapes and Beats. We're now going to play Limbus Company today. More details on that at the end of the video and the whole spiel that I have. With that said, let's do this. L's theme. Let's go. Okay, so I believe this this melody, so we start with a piano doing, well, L's theme. I believe this is L's theme from Death Note. Yeah, the classic one. We're having this piano here doing this really, really cool melody with our initial motif. Right? Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. We're doing some repetition, and in this case, it would be a theme, or, as we could call it, technically, I mean, this is not the original composer, but it was used in several places. It could be considered a leitmotif. So, we're not going to get into that because I don't think leitmotifs are relevant right now. In this case, because it is somebody else other than the original composer that is using this theme and this melody, we are calling it a quote or a quotation. So, yes, and for those of you who haven't seen it, yeah, L is the name of a character of the detective. Yeah, that's his name. Anyway, let's see where this goes. So we're repeating the motif. Oh, there's the drums. Ooh, I like how the motif itself is fairly uneven when it comes to the rhythm, and then after that we bring in the drums and it stabilizes everything a little bit more. It goes to show how important your rhythm section really is. I get to say it. So, if you want to hear a song where this happens to an absolute extreme, listen to the intro of The Mirror by Dream Theater. Dream Theater. The intro of The Mirror by Dream Theater, you have the guitar doing what is called an ostinato. Ostinato means that you're repeating the same thing over and over, what is happening right now with L's theme. And in the case of The Mirror, you have the guitar going, John, 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 John. 1 full minute of just that. But then the drums, the bass, the synth, they change around it every few repetitions. And there's points when it's genuinely difficult to tell that the guitar is still doing the exact same thing. There's videos out there of guitarists playing the guitar part, and you can see that it's basically the same clip, just looped. And it's like the brain sometimes can't compute. It's insane. And right now, to a less egregious degree, but still just as good, we are getting the stabilization of the theme. Let's see where this goes. Leitmotif, right? And yeah, if you haven't watched Death Note, it's a really good one. All right, there we go. Bass synth. All right. Okay, so we bring in the bass synth. The bass synth is giving us what is called our bass line, which is just the lowest notes that we pick for this whole thing. Then the bass synth moves into a cadential bass line, into the cadence itself. When you're making music, of course, you're doing one of two things. You are building tension or you are resolving that tension. That point in between this whole thing we call the cadence, right? Which is just the creation, the build-up, and the resolution of expectations. You are expecting something, you're expecting the music to move one way. For example, if we were to bring this over here in C major, we have C major, Then we have G major over here. And the cadence here built is begging to go back over here, back to C. So that is basically cadence right now. We are having, of course, a more complex chord progression than that. It's still a fairly straightforward chord progression that still builds that cadence, and the way that it is done is via the bass line. And French guy, welcome today. I just saw your message. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Okay, so now we are bringing in a second instrument. We have the violin synth samples going on, giving us a doubling of the original, of the motif itself. Doubling, as you can hear, is when you have more than one instrument doing the same thing at the same time. There is a little bit of variation in a little bit of the motif itself, where we had the melody going up instead of down once, but so far, so good. Let's see where it goes. So yeah, we're slowly adding more variation. All right, build up now. We're gonna build for something. And we bring in, okay, so we end up observing the type of building of cadence that electronic music has, because electronic music has a very unique place in music where your cadences can be built in more ways than just with your chords or just with your melodies. Because the most important thing in electronic music, doesn't matter which artist it is, the most number one priority that you have to have in electronic music is your sound design. If your sound design is good, then you move on to rhythm. If the rhythm is good, then you move on to melody. If melody is good, then you can maybe worry about chords, which is why we have this super basic chord progression, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, it still sounds awesome. We have this super simple melody that just repeats over and over and over and over and over again with an ostinato, a little bit of variation there at the end, and it doesn't matter. Why? Because the big thing over here is the sound design. Because one way to build tension and make this shape over here is to have a synth that literally takes a note from point A to point B in a straight line. And then you bring in the resolution in the form of dropping the beat. What are chords again? Okay, chords in music is when you stack notes on top of one another. This is based on, usually on intervals of stacking thirds. Thirds, of course, are an interval. An interval is when you, is the distance between two notes. So let's take the scale of C major, for example, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and we're gonna do 2 octaves, right? Now, an interval is basically the number in which you are in the scale. So C would be number 1, D number 2, E number 3, F number 4, G5, A6, B7, C8, that is the octave. Octave means that it's the same note repeated up or down in the register. Then D again would be 9. So you can have a 9th away from the original note that you're talking about. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th. A 15th is 2 octaves up. And then that's kind of as far as notation goes. And then you just start talking about octaves. So usually chords is stacking thirds. There's 3 types of chords. You have dyads, you have triads, and you have extended chords. A dyad consists of 2 notes, a single third apart. So you have 1 times a third. A triad is 2 times a third. So you have 2 thirds stacked on top of each other, and extended is when you go for 3, 4, 5, or 6. So a single third away. As I said, C is number 1, D number 2, E number 3. So a dyad of C major is C and E. Then, when you bring in the triad, you take the highest note and you count that as number 1, then 2, a third away from E is G. You get your triad of C major with that. Then, if you take from G as well, same deal, G1, A2, B3, you get your first extended chord of a 7th, because C is the first note, D, E is the 3rd, F, G is the 5th, A, B is the 7th. And then when you add them all together, you get this beautiful chord over here of C major 7th. Then you can add more. You can add a 9th, you can add an 11th, or a 13th. And you can modify these in many different ways. And of course, based on the different combinations of notes that you have in your scale, you can bring in different chord progressions, which can give you the different ways of doing cadences. Why is it called an octave if it only has 7 notes? Because the octave, E, F, G, A, B, octave is the 8th note. The 8th note in any scale, usually of 7 notes, is the same note that you're in. So C is number 1, D2, E3, F4, G5, A6, B7, C8. An octave is just the same note repeated in the scale. And it works the same for all of the notes. All of the notes in the scale, right? Because if we start counting from D, D1, E2, F3, G4, A5, B6, C7, D8. So yes, chord progressions. So a chord progression is the different combinations, of course, that you get, different triads, different dyads, different extended chords, and then you will bring in with the different ones. So yeah, an octave just means that the note is repeating itself. It's the same note up or down the range. So yeah, we're having that happen, and of course, we just dropped the beat. When you're making music, you want to keep a careful balance between what is between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, too much of the same thing, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. There's one universal exception, no matter the style or genre, which is solos. You bring in a solo as long as it sounds cool enough and it fits enough, you can get away with almost anything. Then electronic music has one additional exception, which is dropping the beat. What did we do in this case? We had the build up with the one synth that just went from note 1 to note 2 higher up, giving us that build up sound. We had the sample of, I think it was Light laughing. And Light Yagami, I think, is the main character in Death Note. It's been like 15 years since I watched the anime. So yeah, we have that, and then we drop the beat. Usually what you would hear is having a little bit of rhythmic displacement over here. So rhythmic displacement is, as the name suggests, when you displace something in the rhythm so that you're either pushing something down so that it sounds later or rushing something up so that it sounds earlier. In the case of your cadence or your dropping the beat, what it does is that you have your tension and resolution, and what it does is that you bring that moment of resolution back, and what that does is it enables you to create a little bit of extra phantom tension to pronounce your resolution that much more. In this case, if we go back a little bit, it is that. I thought Jesus was 12. No, I am ancient. Can you spell Yagami backwards? No, I can't spell. So let's do this. Let's continue. So yeah, as you can hear over there, this drop over here didn't quite end up using rhythmic displacement. We ended up continuing the bass line. We ended up continuing the drums. We just missed one hit of the bass drum, but it still had a good effect, and now we are dropping the beat. Another way that ShadowBeatz could have done this and make it just sound a lot more powerful would have been to shut everything up and just have the laughter of Light, and then drop the beat, right? So yeah, let's see where this goes. Okay, so we bring in a good old, like, as good old as it gets, dropping of the beat with the good old dubstep whoop whoop bass, doing variations in the rhythm, going back and forth between straight eighth notes and triplets. You can hear it there going bum bum ba 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 bum bum ba 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 bum bum ba 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 ba. So when you hear those groups of thirds, those are your triplets basically. And we are also having some extra melodies still alluding to that original motif, being able to recycle some of the material just in another synth now, making things very nice and straightforward. Let's see where it goes. Variations, adding that yeah. Wouldn't it be better as dubstep dub? Does that bass sound like it goes dub dub, or does it sound like it goes wub wub? The bass sounds like it goes wub wub. I'm making a very simple naming convention over here. Like, I'm not naming it the way it would make sense. I'm naming things the way that orcs would name things in Warhammer 40k. Okay? Here's how orcs name things in Warhammer 40k, right? Orc Daka. You look at an orc Daka, you know this thing? You know why it's called Daka? Because when you pull the trigger, it goes Daka 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 Daka. You look at an orc Stompa. What the fuck was that? Jesus Christ! You look at an Orc Stompa. I don't even know what that was. You look at an Orc Stompa. I'm gonna have to cut this out. An Orc Stompa over here. This is a giant fucking mech. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that out of the video, don't worry. This is a massive fucking mech. You know why it's called Stompa? Because as it moves, the feet go Stompa, Stompa, Stompa. That's why. That's why. This is the kind of logic that I am that I'm using for naming things, which is why the bass in dubstep is not called dub bass, it's wub wub bass. So yeah, that's why orcs are the goat. I prefer Necrons, but yeah. All right, let's see where this goes. Violet, I need to delete that one, please. There we go. We're bringing back the motif. Alright, there we go, continuing. Red makes beats goes faster, yes. Moving the chords. Why is it called dubstep instead of wubstep? Because I wasn't the one who named it. Simple as. Neither myself, neither the orcs. It was somebody else that decided to name it that way. If it had been up to me, it would be called wubstep. Because that's the sound the bass does. It's way more than the whoop whoop you hear. It's way too complex to actually explain here. You should just look it up. No. It's the dubstep has the whoop whoop. Might be surprised what song would be classified as dubstep. Oh god, it's gonna be one of those things of like, I know that the genres can be very vast and can be very, very much complex, and there's a lot of things, you know, like saying metal, right? Dubstep has whoop whoop bass. That's dubstep. Yeah, now you understand why the streams are 16 plus, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, turns out that that the Google does not understand 40k. Anyway, with that, imagine if Mozart made dubstep, he probably would. He probably would, but it's Nah, he would be more into breakcore and speedcore. Considering how Mozart was, he would be into those two, and he would be into parody music. God, he would be into satire music. Like Mozart, he would be the type that would probably make music like Steel Panther. I'm quick at clicking, yes. Yeah, no, metal, metal is more Beethoven. Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, they were more on the metal kind of thing. Mozart was kind of all over the place. If you want to see somebody that is very close to a modern day Mozart, is Jacob Collier. This guy does it all. And he looks insane enough. His understanding of music is very different, and his approach to music very, very different than many others. This guy, obviously, Google cares more about women's healthcare than some fictional species. Shut up! So yeah, no, Jacob Collier has made a little bit of everything. He just makes music. He doesn't care what genre it is. He doesn't care what style it is. He just makes music. So give this guy insane levels of autism and make him a shitlord, and you get Mozart, basically. So, yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue with the thing to see. Wait. So we're continuing this? Hang on. You know Come Together by the Beatles, it can be classified as dubstep. Okay, so you're talking Baby One More Time by Britney Spears, dubstep. Okay, so this is one of those,
Actually, everything that you do, it belongs to our genre.
it's the same bullshit as you know, oh, you believe in people having equal rights? Congratulations, you belong to my group now, kind of thing. Whoop Whoop is more like the stuff Skrillex came up with, which is bro step. Okay, yeah, you're doing the actually. No. Give a fuck. That's just generalizing it. Yes, that is what I'm doing. You don't like just generalizing it, and you just called Come Together by the Beatles and Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears as dubstep. And you're telling me that you don't like me generalizing, calling this dubstep. Welcome to the Mosh Pit, welcome to I guess. You're projecting over here, man. Let's just continue. You are, man? Yes. Alright, we're bringing back the same that we did before. Doubling. Okay, so what is the best thing to do if something worked the first time? You do it again. We are now recapitulating, repeating everything. So recapitulation. We're doing some recapitulation, and that's it. We are recapitulating. We're doing 1-to-1 repetition. It worked once. It's gonna work again. So let's see. This was one that I think. And yes, I am indeed a man. Buster. Alright, same thing, and... Okay, so now we bring in the breakdown again, with the dropping of the beat again, and what is the difference over here? We're doing different variations. This is quite... I would say the development, there is not much in terms of development of the motif. So, yeah, let's see where it goes. Do you have any addiction except for yapping? Yes. Alright. So yes, like more different variations in the rhythm. How clumsy do you have to be to drop a beat? Ask Skrillex. And with dubstep is like pop in the sense that you can describe way too much under those umbrella terms. That is way too vague. That is way too vague, and the way that dubstep is its own subgenre, that's way too vague. That is way too vague. You're making that is not convincing. That is not convincing. That is not a convincing. That does not convince me. No, because yeah, there are many things that you can put under the umbrella of metal. There's considerably less that you can put under the umbrella of power metal. And dubstep is a form of electronic music. Dubstep is not an all-encompassing umbrella for music. Because if your argument is something like, oh yeah, it has a beat and a bass, then again it goes back to the,
oh, you have this one overlapping thing, now you belong to my idea.
It's just a subgenre in a sense that it's a subgenre of EDM, besides considered an umbrella genre. I don't know how to call it. So I would say that what you're talking about right now is the difference between something being a song and a piece, kind of thing. Like you have the concept of a song that is just generalized nowadays. I would say I disagree. I don't think dubstep is something that you could use to qualify. Like the moment you said Britney Spears being dubstep, that's when you lost me. Anyway, is dubstep a rhythm game? Shut up. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so almost a same repetition. Bit more variation in the drop. Where's the curva añad? There you go. Alright, so it's basically the same repetition. We bring back the motif and we do the same motif again. So you know how I explained that when you're making music, you want to keep a careful balance between what is familiar and what is new? Too much familiarity, too much repetition, too much of the same thing. You are risking boring the listener. You are overusing this a little bit. It's good music, but you are starting to run into that risk. And the line for boredom here will be very subjective, depending on the listener. Very, very subjective. Are LFAs a rhythm game? Oh, if you only knew what I have planned. Let's see where this goes. So let's see, because now we might just get a full repetition. Let's see. Okay, we have the laughter. And don't tell me you're gonna fade out. And you faded out. Oh no. And you faded out. Okay, so I disapprove of the fade out. I don't like fade outs. I think that fade outs you can like the phrase itself has one last note that you can do and you can just cut it with that. It comes across as you ended up doing a bunch of copy pasting, and yeah, so it by itself, for using it as background music in a video game, this is fine. Using this for like working out or something like that, it has a steady rhythm, it has a steady beat, and it's decent enough. There's nothing in terms of developing the melody, and again, this is why I've mentioned before that a motif is going to be very temperamental. You need to be constantly developing that motif, you need to be constantly exploring, or else it risks breaking your music. So yeah, they're not programmed to loop either, even though this one could be. This one could be. You could loop this one in the halfway point. And you could go back to the same spot because we just do a one-to-one repetition. And yeah, there you have it. Granted, this is from 13 years ago, so I'm going to give it to ShadowBeatz over here. Chances are this is one of the earlier works. You're still experimenting. You're still figuring things out. You can very much tell that the focus on this piece was the drop. The focus on this one was the drop, was to see what sounds you could get, what rhythmic variations you can get, making the drop sound good, because the drop was insanely good in my opinion. It was really fun. It had some nice variation over there, and yeah, if your daughter takes a fade out at the end of your song, it should automatically ban you from the program. No, it should give you a newspaper moment from me. Yeah, it should give me your location, and then I can just show up with a newspaper and whack in the back of the head. Finish your music. So yeah, no. I would say the focus over here was very, very clearly the drop. Like experimenting with the drop, making the drop sound as good as possible, and then the rest of it, Death Note's L theme ended up being what was chosen for this. Maybe ShadowBeatz was watching Death Note and decided, oh, I'm gonna use this, because you could pretty much interchange this. That's one of the downsides of this kind of drop-heavy music that focuses so much on the bass, and the bass is so unrelated to the material, is that you can kind of swap these around melodically. Like you could switch the melody over here with almost anything else, and it wouldn't make too big a difference. The drops would still be very good, and the rest of the music would just be the transition or the points that build to the drop. So in that sense, it's a little bit weak. The drop is still good. I think it was decent. I think it was decent enough. It's not something that I would the original one didn't fade out, so it's an active choice, make it even worse. So yeah, no. Why do fade outs exist? Even to just have it like an ending. Okay, so fade outs initially were made for radio stations. Because in radio stations you have the disc jockey, and the disc jockey, what their job was to make sure that the music continued playing. And with that comes the concept of the cross fade. The crossfade means you have two tracks of music. One of them, the volume is going down. The other one, the volume is going up. So what many companies, many studios started doing is, in order for the music to be radio friendly, because they wanted, okay, we want around 3 minutes of music. Don't make it more than that. So what they started doing, what many of these studios started doing, they just started fading the songs out after 3 minutes, so that then the radio stations would have to just do a fade in for the other one, and you would have your crossfade pretty much done over there. Is ending on a sustained note a fade out? No. A fade out, a fade out to be a fade out, or you can put a dash over here, is that it feels like the track is not over. It feels like you're just continuing and that it could just loop infinitely and there's no ending to it. That's when you can tell it's a fade out, as it happened over here. We had the motif still playing and we just lowered the volume. That's a fade out. A sustained note, that's just, yeah. Crossfade sounds like a haircut. I'm sorry, I don't know, that may be just the Polish in you speaking. So yeah, no, fade outs, crossfades. I used to be in the college radio. That was very, very normal for us to do. You would have track one playing in track one. The volume knob, you would go down on one, up on the other one, and that's it, right? So yeah. Can you think of a track that does fade outs properly? I don't like fade outs, so I can't. I don't like fade outs, so there are some tracks that I listen to on a daily basis that have fade outs, and I dislike it. But they have it. So yeah. If you don't have a track on radio or whatever, what is the point of the fade out? The point of the fade out is you don't have to finish the music. And that saves the producer time. That's basically it, that you don't have to finish the track. You don't have to finish the song. So yeah, no, I don't like it. There are composers that do. This is a contentious point in music. Some will find it practical because then you don't have to finish it, but I see it as lazy. Because you can just cut off the music. You play the motif over here and you finish it with the last note of the motif, and that's it. You can literally break everything, start the way you end the way you started with a solo piano, and then just run a couple of more loops of that. The loop ends, you just echo it out, and that's it. Like, you just let the reverb, the energy dissipate, and that's it. So yeah, no, very, very different. And yeah, after the video's over, I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples so that y'all can see the difference, because the video would probably get copyrighted, like on the individual upload. But yeah, either way, there you have it. That was Death Note's L theme, the dubstep remix by ShadowBeatz, featured in Geometry Dash, as my understanding. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what has happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever you're going to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, at time of recording, we are celebrating 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you once again for that. In celebration, we're going to be doing two things. Number one, I am giving away 10 copies of Vintage Story. This used to be a Minecraft mod, now it's its own standalone game. I love it, I prefer it, which is why I'm giving away 10 copies of this game. The giveaways are going to happen on the Discord server on the second half of February. So make sure you've joined the Discord server. It's going to get announced there as it happens. So make sure you've joined the Discord today. That's way number one. And way number two, now starting with 10,000, every 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to start playing some of the games that we've checked out on this channel. The first two are Just Shapes and Beats and Limbus Company. The playthroughs of those, if you can't make it on stream, they're going to go to the gaming channel. More on that in a moment. So make sure you join the Discord server. That's where everything gets announced first. Whether it's the streams going live, videos going up on the channels, updates, projects, the giveaways, everything gets announced there first. Of course, we have the community, we hang out, we chat, we steal memes from other people's servers, claim them as our own, and where I host the Vintage Story game server, community server. I love the game so much I built a PC just to host the server. So yeah, join the Discord server today, linked in the description, and yeah, do it. Also share these videos with everybody that you know. Use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, linked in the description. That's another reason to join. Yes. Musicians, artists, ShadowBeatz, or anybody else out there, let's collaborate. If you want any of my musical skills, let me know. There's guitars, there's Mongolian throat singing, voice acting, whatever you want. And if you're in the audience and you know somebody that you would like me to collaborate with, reach out, let them know. Please do not harass anyone, please do not spam anyone, be cool about things, don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs, so become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting in 3.5 seconds, I'll be linking in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video. It has the instructions what to do. If you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, 6 p.m. Central Europe. If you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch. So if you live in Timor, which means scamming, and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to Discord or Twitch and it's going to show in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recording vaults when they happen, recorded live during the main channel's after show, and the recordings go here. This is where the vaults for the Just Shapes and Beats, Limbus Company, and whatever other games we cover are going to go to. So, linked in the description, or just search on YouTube, same username as James R. Basterd, just with the J for a G, and you got it. And, yeah. There you have it. Death Note L's theme, ShadowBeatz. That was alright. Again, it had good stuff, just not the fade out. Good stuff, though. Good stuff. But, yeah. Let's move on.